Diffie Hellman key exchange. So before we can make a start on Diffie Hellman key exchange protocol, we're going to have to remind ourselves of this high school math topic called modular math. You might remember it. I definitely don't. And I honestly never knew what it was for until now. I know it's very useful in cryptography, apparently. So if we just remind ourselves with the math that we're normally used to, we have a linear number line. So we start with 0, we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. until infinity. And that's just a straight line. But with modular math, it's a circle. So let's take mod 8, for example. Instead of a straight line, we start with 0, with a circle. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's no 8. 8, you basically go back to 0. 8 mod 8 is 0. And then 9 mod 8 is 1. So you keep on going around in the circle. And of course you can have mod anything. You can have mod 12 and mod 2. So if we just take a few examples, let's say what is 12 mod 8. So that's basically 12 divided by 8, and you take the remainder, which is 4. What is 24 mod 8? So 8 actually goes squarely into 24 3 times, so the answer is 0. What is 14 mod 5? So 5 goes into 14 twice, leaving a remainder of 4. That's basically modular arithmetic. I'm pretty sure Khan Academy is going to have a much deeper explanation of how this all works. I'll include a link to it in the notes below. So let me just throw in this extra thing that might come in useful for us later on. Let's say we have a number y, and we're working with mod p. You can always think of y as the sum of two parts. So it's like n number of p's plus the remainder. So for example, let's say y is 25 and p is 8. So we can represent 25 as 3 times 8 and then plus the remainder of 1. So that'll come in useful later on. Now that we've got modular arithmetic out of the way, we can make a start on the Diffie Hellman key exchange protocol. The purpose of this protocol, if you recall, is to get these shared secret blue keys into the hands of Alice and Bob when they're not able to meet in person to pass to each other. So there needs to be some secure way of establishing these shared keys such that they can use all of the great things that we've learned already, such as symmetrical, authenticated encryption, and decryption. So, okay, let's scrub out these keys. So we're going to start with the toy version of Diffie Hellman first, just to establish how we can replace that fancy box with a trapdoor with mathematics. So Alice has got a secret number called A. Oopsie. I'm going to use red for secret numbers, A, and Bob's got a secret number, B. And then publicly available and publicly known numbers are going to be in green. There's going to be a variable G that everybody knows. And what we want to do is for Alice and Bob to calculate their own secret keys. So we're going to define the secret key in this toy example as being A multiplied by B multiplied by G. And so what we're going to have Alice do is calculate a variable called x, big X. And big X is basically just G times her secret, A. And she's going to send it over to Bob. And this big X is being sent in the open, so everybody can see it. And what Bob's going to do to calculate his blue key is take this X, multiply it with his secret. So that's basically equal to A times B times G. So now he's got his key. So he's going to do the same thing for Alice. He's going to calculate a big Y using G times his secret B, and then he's going to send big Y over to Alice. Alice is going to combine this big Y with her secret A by multiplying it together, and so now she's got her key. And hooray, they both have their secret keys. Now, there's a problem with this toy example when we introduce the bad guy. So everything in green is available to the bad guy. So what the bad guy can do is take this X. He can see the big X. He knows G. All he has to do is to take the big X, divide by G. That's basically A. That's Alice's secret. And then when Bob sends over his big Y, he's going to take Y, multiply it by A, and now he's got a version of that secret key. And he's able to get a copy of the secret key because this is too simple. So in real Diffie Hellman, we're going to walk through the real Diffie Hellman. Real Diffie Hellman. That definition of the key is going to be much more complicated. So the key is going to be G to the power of A and to the power of B, and there's going to be a mod P. And both G and P are public variables, P being a very big number. And we'll talk about why this is, this definition of the key calculation is really important. This is basically the trapdoor. So let's just replay that that whole scenario again. So here Alice, there's Alice, there's Bob, she's got A, he's got B, and so to calculate the big X, she's gonna do G to the power of A mod P, and then she's gonna send it over. What Bob's gonna do, he's gonna take big X to the power of B mod P, and then now he's got his key. So he's going to do the same thing. He's going to calculate his big Y by doing G to the power of his secret B mod P, and he's going to ping it over. Alice is going to take that big Y to the power of A and then do a mod P, and now she's got the key. But the difference now is that the bad guy's going to take X. He's going to be like, well, I know X equals G to the power of A mod P. So all of these green things are things that I already know. Can I work this backwards to figure out A? And the answer is no. He can't figure out A because this is called the discrete log problem and is considered mathematically intractable. And if you recall that special box that we had where there was this like yellow one-way trapdoor where things can only go one way but cannot go the other way, this is basically it. It's basically very easy for Alice to take her A and to do some math on it to turn it into X. But it's impossible for the bad guy to take X to turn it into A. So this is the trapdoor. So for those of you who are really switched on, you're gonna go like, hey, something wrong with that. The calculation that Bob did was Alice's X to the power of his secret B mod P. And that's basically equal to the calculation that Alice did, which is G to the power of A mod P to the power of B mod P. So that was the key that Bob calculated. Well, hey, let's look at what Alice did. Alice took a big Y to the power of A and did a mod P on it. And the Y that Bob sent her was G to the power of B mod P to the power of A mod P, and that's her key. And we're saying that these are equal. But are these equal? And the answer is yes. There's a proof that we can do using the binomial theorem to show that these two things are indeed equal. And that's actually another piece of magic that makes Diffie Hellman work. But I'm not going to do it now. But if people really, really need it, I can do it as a separate video. So what you saw just now is the Diffie Hellman key exchange protocol. So how does that map onto public key encryption systems? Well, there's this person called Elgamal who made a small adjustment to Diffie Hellman to create a public key system. So what you have is you have Bob, who has, do you remember his secret B, and he can calculate a big Y by doing power of B mod P. So in the language of public key systems, that's basically Bob's secret key that he keeps to himself. And then this is Bob's public key, which he can tell everybody, hey, if you need to send me a secret message, anyone is welcome to use this public key. And so Alice will use Bob's public key, and then she will take Y to the power of A And then to encrypt the message, she will use this as a key for encryption. This is symmetric encryption to create ciphertext. And then in parallel with sending ciphertext to Bob, she will also need to calculate big X, which is G to the power of A mod P. And then both of these will get sent to Bob, and that will enable Bob to, like, this X will enable Bob to figure out this key, which will enable him to decrypt this message and get the original. And he can do that whenever he wants. They don't need to be in a live interactive session to do that.